Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be planting out our tomatoes. I think that we're safe to do so right now. We are a couple weeks past our estimated last frost date, and the weather forecast looks pretty good for the next 10 days. I don't see anything under like 40 degrees, so I don't think there should be any risk of frost. And unless we get like a super late frost, I think these guys will be safe to go out. So today's going to be a little bit of a bigger planting job. Not like huge, I have like maybe 35 seedlings here, and Aaron is going to help me today. So hopefully it won't take too long, because we only have maybe like an hour and a half of daylight left. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get everything planted out tonight. So let me give you a little look at our seedlings. Here's my flat of tomato seedlings, and I started these on March 15th. So it's been just over 1 month, and I'm actually really surprised how big they are for just being a little over a month old. A lot of them are very large, and I just have them in these 2-inch pots, and they've been growing nicely in there. The roots are just starting to grow out the bottom, but definitely not getting root bound or anything in there. I watered today and did like a diluted fish fertilizer. I think it's always nice to do that before planting out, just so that the plants are really nicely hydrated and also have just a little bit of a boost of fertilizer before they go out. And here's how the plants are looking. Nice and healthy. They did burn a little bit in the beginning when I first brought them out to the greenhouse, so some of these older leaves are damaged, but all of the new leaves are looking really good. That's nice to see, because as long as the new growth is doing well, the plants will probably transplant just fine. I think I had about a dozen different varieties that I started this year, and I'll show you those as we plant. And let me also show you the areas we're going to be transplanting today. So we're going to be working mostly in this back part of the garden today, and we're going to be doing, I think, 2 full rows of tomatoes this year. So we're going to be doing these 2 rows. This is the trellising system that we set up last year. We have some T-posts and then some PVC pipe up top, and we planted the tomatoes at the base here, ran a string around the base of the plant and tied it to the top here. You can see we have some leftover string from last year, and that worked really well for our indeterminate tomatoes, so we're going to do that again. The only thing was my string did break towards the end of the season because I just used some really thin like kitchen twine. I doubled it up, but it still snapped, so I have to find a thicker string to use this year. But other than that, I think the system worked out really well. As the plants grow, they kind of like wrap around the string, and that helps to support them, and you do need to prune them if you do that, so that's really good for indeterminate tomatoes. So I'll show that as they grow, how I'll like wrap it around the stem. But then we also have another row here, and this one's set up a little bit differently. This one has T-posts and then a cattle panel, and the plan is to put our determinate tomatoes here because those I don't prune to be a single stem. So we're going to plant them, and as they grow, we'll weave the branches in and out of these cattle panels, and that will support them as they grow. So I think that's going to be a little bit better for determinate tomatoes, because otherwise they are sometimes a pain to have in like tomato cages, or if I do stakes, I have to individually tie them to all of the stakes. So I'm hoping that this will work well. This would also work well for indeterminate tomatoes, but we only have one with the cattle panel, and it's difficult for us to get more of these without a truck. So that's why we're doing the indeterminate tomatoes with this setup, because it's a lot easier for us to get the materials for this. Nothing really is too big or unwieldy to get home. I'm taking a look at the rows right now, and I am realizing that we have to kind of weed as we plant. So that might slow things down a little bit, but hopefully not too much. I've already weeded these beds, but they just keep popping up because it's spring. And we're also going to have to amend this bed. We only have 1 bag of manure on hand right now, so we're going to use that on this bed. And I believe this one I had already put a lot of like spent chicken bedding in the fall, so I think it might be okay for now. We'll probably top dress later on when we can get more compost or manure, but we're also going to use granular fertilizer for both of these anyway. So let's get started with the bed prep.
I saw you inside, it was a cold winter night. You show like different intoxicants to make you feel alright. Now I'm sitting here, holding back tears and fears. You're just my type. in my eyes, but still there's thoughts in my mind, justifying the solace when I want you to be mine. The king of overthinking sure doesn't wanna think anymore. I want to believe that I would take you home. Loving you isn't hard to do. I said loving you isn't hard to do. When I see you all the way from across the room, and I'm fond of you. Loving you isn't hard to do. I said loving you isn't hard to do. When I see you all the way from across the room, and I'm fond of you.
Alright guys, we are just about out of light here, but we did get these 2 rows planted. We're going to have to plant those other tomatoes in that raised bed that I showed you earlier, but I'm glad we got this done. And then the tomatoes that are going to have to be planted tomorrow are the Celebrity and the BHN 1021. I don't think I can fit all of these in the bed. I'll probably do maybe 6 of them, and then the other ones I'll have to try and find another spot. But we were able to fit a lot of the tomatoes I had in those 2 rows, so I'm pretty happy about that. And even though we weren't able to get everything done, we did get a lot of the tomatoes planted, so I'm really happy about that. And not everything has to get done all at once. We definitely still have time. So we're going to call it a night since it is getting very dark out. It actually looks still very bright on the camera, but it's very dark out here. All the chickens have gone to bed. So that's going to be it from us for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you again in the next one.